football or modern game. Bolaji must be reading your mind. Churchill Ezenwa says, we need a world-acclaimed coach like... Okay, sorry. It says, a world-acclaimed coach like Scolari lost scandalously at the World Cup. If it were to be Keshi...
No, not to the better side. There's nothing like to the better side.
I wonder what Nigerians would say.
The better side.
Whether it's Keshi or any local coach, any indigenous coach. Anyway, who is this? Ayobami. Okay, he says good evening. Yeah, good evening to you, Ayobami. I think Michael is not being sincere here. We don't need any foreign coach, Michael. That's a direct one at you. Kwazim Kelani says, let's just forget it and let Keshi keep his good work, or else football in Nigeria will go back to recession. Gentlemen, can we react quickly to this?
For me, I feel these fans are just speaking our minds. Now, before we went on that break, we're talking about financial remuneration.
Yes,
now,
which is key.
Which is very, very key in motivating a coach. Now, Keshi was out for 7 months. He was still working for Nigeria because of patriotism, like you said. He doesn't have a job. His contract expired after the World Cup. But yet, he still offered to work for the Super Eagles, handling them in the games against South Africa and Congo, which shows that. And he says he's unprofessional. Now, in the absence of Keshi, who would you have prescribed to manage the Super Eagles? And you are saying that he should have negotiated his contract. How can he negotiate his contract when the NFF crisis was still on? Even till now, Keshi doesn't still have a job.
I'm also aware that sometimes some of these indigenous coaches go through a lot in terms of their reward.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you give Keshi half of what
Football Federation
was earning,
really makes it difficult for these local coaches. If it's indigenous coaches, if it's a foreign coach, it will make it clear. It will state it clear. I can't work under these terms.
So has Keshi not said how much he wants to earn?
This will make the Football Federation sit up.
His last contract was 5 million naira per month.
And he says he doesn't want...
Now he wants between 10 and 15.
What has the NFF responded?
I mean, if I go for a training, for instance, if I go for a training, or if anybody goes for a training, you can come back and say, hey, I put out a little more to my cap, so sir, can you take it up?
My value increases yours.
Do you want to say that Keshi doesn't deserve what he's asking for? Without Lagerback, Betty Vokes, and all these other foreign
coaches. If you are making emphasis on the Nations Cup Stephen Keshi has won, I think for me, the World Cup and the Confederations Cup.
Let me tell you something.
And the Confederations Cup.
Let me remind you. Really, do you know that before Keshi became the coach of the Super Eagles, we've never qualified for the Championship of African Nations? Do you know? Stephen Keshi led us in qualifying for that tournament, not only leading us.
Yeah,
we came third.
It was a fantastic.
We came third in South Africa. So what are you saying? We had missed the first 2 editions in Nigeria and Ivory Coast. And everyone was saying, if Nigerian League is rated as one of the best...
Sorry to cut you this. I don't like to do this, but let me just... These two guys just seem like they came back to back, but on a different... they're treading on a different part. Ajayi Akim, thank you for joining us. He says, most of our local... I should think, please, let's say indigenous, please. Most of our indigenous coaches, including Keshi, lack the tactics the game requires. While Nuruddin Oshodi, thank you for joining us, says, Keshi is a good coach, but he needs experienced backroom coach, and we need to invest in our coaches. So I think finance is coming very critical as part of what makes some of these things work.
It's not even only paying him 5 million naira. How can you pay me 5 million naira and you're not even, the money is not coming as at when due? You understand my point?
That's
lack of motivation.
On the Nigerian Football Federation.
Yes.
Do our players? Okay, let me rephrase that. Are the players by way of what they do, what they earn, where they are, where they work, the kind of people they train with week in, week out, wherever they play their football? Does it in any way come to bear in listening to a particular kind of coach? Because I think I remembered so many years back when Nigeria used to still play at the National Stadium. I think we need to go back to those days when we play at National Stadium. Maybe our players, just a second. And I remember once we had this indigenous coach, I can't remember if it's Chukwu or Amodu Shwabu, his first missionary journey. And when we go to the stadium, he used to come with the official vehicle, 504 or 505 thereabout, and the players would, I think that was when JJ had a Grand Cherokee, which he wrote JJ10 as a plate number. So this one comes, parks, this one comes, parks, this one parks. And the coach comes with the 504 official car.
That's looking inferior.
Does it have anything to do with...
It does have psychological impact because
Then the Fatusis came with very massive cars. I don't
Yes,
know.
it does have psychological impact because a player will come to the national team and say, I earn more than this coach, please. I won't take
So let's pay our indigenous coaches more.
That's what I'm saying.
Invest more.
That's
in
what I'm
indigenous
saying.
coaches. What if you're going to invest more in the indigenous coaches?
In capacity and in their pocket.
In capacity. I think once they are technically sound,
instead of how
and
can you
delivering
how
results,
has the NFF tried to make these guys technically sound? You see my suggestion.
They'll be
Let
regarded
Keshi's contract be
as
renewed.
the best
That's
coaches in
one.
the world.
Number two,
Okay.
why not attach him with one of these top class coaches in the world?
That
If
is-
you attach him to Arsene Wenger, you attach him
you're
to
getting the head of
Van
a
Gaal,
what? Of a foreign asset.
No.
You're still getting the head
Okay,
of the foreign thing.
No.
We can actually get
Aids from foreign
yes,
thing.
and put them as backroom.
That is while
After all, they
developing
have indigenous coaches as
our
backroom
indigenous
staff
coaches.
in Chelsea.
Yes. So the
Is it-
best,
that-
the best team, you can send this guy. Say, okay, you can spend 2 weeks with this guy.
still yet.
And learn
You're
what it
still
is.
appointing.
No, you're
a
not
foreign
appointing.
coach
No, you're not
to
appointing.
oversee
The coach
and
will not
develop
interfere in your job.
our coaches.
No, the coach will not interfere in your job. The only
Literally,
project
our coaches
Sorry, guys.
even
Sorry.
have.
Tammy must just be. He must have a very great sense of humor. Tammy, thanks for joining. He says, "I will take a bad coach like Keshi any day. Bad coaches like him make us African champions."
that's the truth. This
I
guy,
won't read
this
the
guy,
last part of what he said
this
because
guy-
that's derogatory of my guest.
This guy- this guy-
And Mudashiri says, what Keshi needs is to change some tired legs from the squad, not foreign coach. I don't know.
That comes to
we
player
need to-
selection.
So he doesn't know.
What do you mean
I'm not
tired
saying
leg?
that
What
that
what
brings
is the
your
average
mind
age
back
of
to
Super
player
Eagles
selection.
players?
Now I can tell you,
What's the average age
the
of Super
indigenous
Eagles
coaches
players?
have this cloud thought when it comes to player selection, whereby they have ethnic background influence on players. You go for a player who you think, yes, comes from your region, just to make the
Does that still
people.
happen
Can you
in
give
football?
examples
It
of
does,
that?
it does happen
Can
with
you give
it
example
does
of that?
happen with
I want you to
indigenous
back what you're
coaches.
saying with facts.
It
Can you
does
give can you
happen
give an
with
example of
indigenous
that?
coaches
It
because
does not.
you can
Can you give an
come
example of that?
from a place and won't develop your place. It's a Nigerian
it's
mentality.
It's all about
But a
it's all
foreign
about
coach
selecting
will go
the best
for
players
the
for the Super
tactic
Eagles.
for the statistics. The age of I can assure you that most foreign coaches have database of Nigerian players. Even coaches who are applying, some foreign coaches like an Australian coach who I can't recollect his name now,
Yeah,
who is
go
in
ahead.
charge of David Alaba of Bayern Munich,
Okay.
said, Alaba is
He manages him,
Nigerian
Austria.
born. Said of Austria,
Austria,
thank you.
yeah.
Said that he has database of Nigerian players and he has shown interest in the Super Eagles job. Now, if a coach can say he has database of Nigerian players abroad, that means he's actually monitoring every Nigerian player
How well
away
have
from
been able
home.
to ensure
Now-
that Keshi keeps tabs on both players that are playing locally
Having
and
where-
in foreign leagues? Let me tell you something.
When he needs to travel,
yes, let me tell
he's
you.
allowed to travel on his own. To
That's
go
what
monitor
I'm
these
saying.
guys.
Look at
That
Roy
is
Hodgson.
why
Look at
he
Roy
has the
Hodgson.
backroom staff.
I'm coming.
He
Look
should
at
make
Roy
use of the
Hodgson.
backroom staff.
Look at
I can
Roy
say the
Hodgson.
technical commi- I
Roy
can say-
Hodgson. If there's any this weekend, there's Man City against Chelsea. You definitely see him at the Etihad. That clause has been started in his contract that whenever there's a top class game in the English Premier League, you go and watch and scout for new players. Is that clause started in Keshi's
all
contract?
of the inadequacies and all of those politics and power play that happen in NFF and all of that, I'm not interested in those politics. But if we take those things or skim it down, do you think an indigenous coach will do better?
At this present stage,
No. If we take away some of those inadequacies,
having in mind of their tactical deficiency.
okay, you're still
See,
maintaining this tactical.
See this
Yes,
thing. See
and
this
I'll
thing.
tell
Michael,
you,
let me tell you
our
something.
indigenous
Wait.
coaches.
Are you saying indigenous coaches,
No,
their brains are empty?
you see, that's not.
I'm not
you see,
saying
that's
their
not
brains
the
are
thing. You
empty.
see, Michael,
Their
let me tell you
brains
something.
can really make
Michael, let me tell
huge
you.
impact
You know what?
in the
you know
world
what
stage.
indigenous coaches
That's
do?
an
In
affront.
the world stage.
You know what
Why?
The world stage.
Even if they go to
Because the
learn,
level-
Nigerians are one of the
that is-
best.
That is if
Do
they
you
go
know?
to learn.
Do you know what I?
Once
Do you
they
know what
learn,
I?
once they get
Do you know
more
what our
certificates,
indigenous coaches
once
need?
they have acquired
They only
more
need two
skills
things.
and knowledge,
Okay,
Give
they'll
them
become better coaches
the free
than
hand
the foreign
to
coaches.
do their job without
And
interference.
I should think
Yes,
indigenous
I can
coaches
tell you,
have
they
it.
will
without,
abuse it.
I'm coming,
They would abuse
without
it.
interference from
Give them a free hand.
government, without interference
They
from the
will abuse
NFF.
it.
Because we will not like a situation whereby the NFF will start saying, why didn't you pick this player? Why did you pick this player?
And that is what the foreign coach will- and that is what the foreign coach will
No. I feel the indigenous coaches should be allowed to do their job effectively and